Member for Durham.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of Canada has been silent on the Iranian protests, which Amnesty International yesterday confirmed has led to thousands being imprisoned. He's been silent on drones and missiles financed by Iran facing our ally Israel. He's been silent even on the death of Canadian Professor Syed Amami in an Iranian prison on the weekend. Instead of silence from the Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, when can we have him standing up for human rights, for democracy, and for Canadians instead of cozying up to an Iranian regime?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this government has been consistent in standing up for human rights everywhere around the world. Whenever I meet with any leader around the world, I bring up human rights. We talk about the importance of protecting Canadian interests. And in this tragic case coming out of Iran, we have communicated clearly our desire for an autopsy, for a complete independent investigation. We demand that Canadians be treated fairly, that their families be supported, and that we get to the bottom of this situation.
Member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
An independent investigation from the government of Iran? After those town halls, maybe it's hard to know when the Prime Minister is joking. But this joke isn't funny, Mr. Speaker. This is a government, the government of Iran, a regime that gives LGBTQ children electric shock therapy. The government should stop cozying up to the regime. This is his chance. The Prime Minister has said nothing thus far on the protests. So could he stand up and finally support the cause of protesters who are fighting for democracy, human rights, justice, and the rule of law?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we are always unequivocal about standing up for LGBT rights. We are, of course, deeply troubled by the deaths and detentions of protesters during protests in Iran. The Iranian people must be able to freely assemble without facing violence or imprisonment. We will always defend human rights. That's why Canada rallied more countries than ever before at the UN in November on a resolution calling on Iran to comply with its international human rights obligations. Our government is committed to holding Iran to account for its violation of human and democratic rights.
Honourable Member for Calgary.